The rain whispered down in slow, steady rhythms against the tall panes of the skylight atrium. The city had already melted into a quiet hum of night when Sophia finally raised her head from her glowing screen and blinked. Everyone had vanished. Desks stood empty, screens asleep. Even the reception area had gone still. "Perfect," she murmured, rising. Her heels clicked faintly as she moved to the elevator, tapping the button. No response. She tapped again. Still nothing. She glanced at her phone, dead, her stomach turned. She tugged at the stairwell door, locked. Then came footsteps, unhurried, not startled, measured. They echoed toward her from the corridor, her breath caught. And then she saw him. Andrew. He stopped before her. No suit today. Dark trousers, white shirt undone at the neck, sleeves casually rolled. His look unreadable. "Thought someone was still inside," he said. His tone was low, yet firm. Sophia straightened. "I didn't mean to stay so late. I didn't notice." He stepped nearer. He glanced at the door. Locks activate at 9. Automated. Can't exit until security resets at 6. 6. Her voice cracked. He nodded. His eyes held hers. Then calmly, he reached behind and flipped the hallway door's deadbolt. Click. "But there's one place the lock skips," he said gently. Her pulse jumped. She should have panicked but didn't move. He turned and walked, not fast, then paused. "You coming?" Her feet moved on instinct. Thoughtlessly, she followed him to his private office. Spacious, sleek, marble desk. Golden lamps low. Only sound, her breath. He closed the door. This time she heard the click. He leaned back on his desk and stared at her. His jaw was firm. Eyes sharp, warm. "Sophia, you've been dodging me." She opened her mouth, but whatever rose in her faded. "You're smart, quiet, thorough, but I notice you." His voice softened. Distance shrank. "I notice your gaze fall when I enter. How you inhale as I pass." Her cheeks warmed, hands trembling faintly, but she stood still. "You think I missed that? I watch everything here." She felt stripped bare. Then he moved. No contact, but his fingers hovered near her skin. And even that closeness made her pulse race. "Have you ever been kissed in here?" he murmured. She shook her head. He moved behind her, mouth brushing her ear. "Ever let someone show you how it feels to stop guarding?" Her breath caught. He brushed her hair aside. "Tell me to stop, Sophia." She didn't. His hands found her hips, firm, assured. He turned her toward the glass wall. "Look," he whispered. "You see yourself." She saw her lips, parted, eyes wide, and him behind her. His lips touched her neck. Warm and claiming, her knees buckled. He caught her. "No one's coming," he said. She believed it. She let him lift her onto the desk, skirt sliding upward. His lips never left her. She'd never felt this. Never been touched with such quiet, deliberate hunger. She wasn't just Sophia anymore. She was his. In that locked office, beneath that glow, she gave in. Days passed hazily. Sophia moved through meetings and tasks like gliding on silk, senses drenched in memories. His breath on her neck, his mouth's warmth, the echo of that lock clicking like a sealed spell. Andrew. Yet he grew distant, not cruel, just composed. In meetings, all professional, he never lingered, not in daylight, but in passing, when hands brushed sharing files, she felt it, the heat beneath his calm. Every time she unraveled just a bit more. It was Thursday when the shift truly began. Sophia had stayed late again, design revisions for a new Rome hotel wing. Glowing blueprints lit her screen, her eyes stung from the brightness. Most of the office had emptied. Silence made the air feel heavier. She collected her folders and reached for her bag. A voice behind her made her spine stiffen. "You're still here?" She turned slowly. Andrew stood at her cubicle's edge, one hand in his pocket. The other held a dark tumbler. His jacket was missing, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up, shirt undone at the top, revealing the line of his collarbone. She swallowed. "Just finishing the terrace layout," she replied. He tilted his head a little. "Come with me." She followed silently, her heels echoed loud on the empty floor. He led her to the glass conference room, long table inside, city lights spilled through the windows like quiet fire. The skyline outside pulsed red from neon across the street. Andrew stepped in. He didn't wait for her to sit. "Close the door." She did. Then, slowly, he lowered each blind one at a time, dimming the room until only red from outside remained, and warm golden ceiling lights inside. "You wore that skirt on purpose," he said, facing the glass. She looked down, tight black pencil skirt, high at the thigh. "I didn't think," he turned, stopping her with a stare. "Don't lie to me, Sophia, not here." She stayed quiet. He crossed the space and didn't stop until her back met the table's edge. "I told myself that night meant nothing," he said, voice deeper now. "I told myself I wouldn't touch you again." His hands hovered by her sides. "But you passed my door this morning, and your scent lingered 5 full minutes after." His fingers grazed her ribs. "And I knew," he murmured. "I'd break every rule for you." Her breath caught. He slid his hands up her arms, over her shoulders, cupping her face gently. His thumbs brushed her lips. "Say stop, and I'll stop," he said. She said nothing. His lips met hers like a vow, slow and deep, not rushed, not polite, but heart beating loud enough he surely felt it. His hands roamed. He lifted her onto the sleek table, opening her thighs with one knee. The reflection showed in a glass around them. But she didn't care. She wanted him to see. He unbuttoned her blouse with slow precision, revealing soft lace underneath. His mouth found her collarbone. She gasped. When his tongue flicked her bra's edge, "You're not wearing that for comfort," he said against her skin. "No," she breathed. "You wanted me to notice." "Yes." He slid his fingers into her hair and kissed her again, this time deeper, like he was unlearning every secret she'd hidden. When his hands slid under her skirt, she arched into him, breath stuck in her chest. His touch was expert, slow circles, firm pressure. He didn't talk, just watched her expression, watched her unravel. And when she finally shattered, shaking, whispering his name, he kissed her throat and said softly, "That's mine." Later, he sat beside her, legs spread, skirt pushed high, while she caught her breath. "I'll need you focused tomorrow," he said quietly. "I will be." "Good. Client dinner's in the East Wing. We'll be seated together." He touched her knee lightly. "Don't wear red." "Why?" His eyes darkened. "Because if you wear red, I want to drag you into the closest room and make you scream it." Her face burned all over again. Friday arrived quickly. Sophia dressed in black silk, heels that made her sway. She didn't wear red, but wore lace still. At dinner, Andrew sat beside her, calm, composed. He didn't touch her, but leaned near whenever he spoke. Under the table, once, his foot touched hers. Slow, steady, deliberate. She barely dared breathe. After the final toast, Andrew turned. "You'll stay to help clean, yes?" Not a question. She nodded. 30 minutes later, the ballroom nearly empty. Some assistants collected dishes. The floral crew boxed up centerpieces. She lingered near the champagne fountain. He came behind her, close, not touching. "Walk to the elevator," he whispered, barely audible. "Don't look back. Floor 33, private level." She obeyed. Elevator opened like a secret, gold-trimmed velvet interior. On 33, she stepped into a hallway lit by soft hanging lights and a door open at the end. His office again, but different now. He waited by the leather couch, drink in hand, jazz playing low in the background, wine already uncorked. "Sit." She sat. He poured, handed her the crystal glass. Her hands trembled slightly as she took it. "You haven't asked why," he said after a few quiet minutes. "Why what?" "Why I want you." Her lips parted. Because I see everything you try hiding, he said, and I want to ruin every bit of it until you stop. He stood, step behind. Just for tonight. She turned to him. What if I don't want it back? He smiled faintly. Then you'll come back for more. He lifted her and carried her to the chair by his desk. He didn't undress her this time. He pushed her skirt up, moved her panties aside, and tasted her like a man starved. Her cries, soft and needy. She clutched the chair's arms, heels digging into the floor. His name escaped her lips again and again. When she finally collapsed, breathless and limp, he knelt between her legs, panting. You'll dream of this, he said. She knew he was right. The weekend arrived. On Sunday morning, she woke to a new message. Private villa, noon. Bring nothing. Her heart pounded. It wasn't fear, it was hunger, and whatever was coming, she felt ready. The car ride was silent, save for the hum of tires on asphalt. Sophia sat quietly in the rear seat of a sleek black vehicle that had arrived at her apartment at noon. Exactly. No driver greeting, no questions, only a folded card beside her. No phone, no excuses, only you. Her hands had trembled reading it. Now, with every passing mile, her heartbeat thudded louder. Anticipation turned molten. This wasn't just a weekend. It was a velvet boundary she was stepping across. The villa appeared on the cliffside like a secret unveiled. Pale stone, wide terraces above endless sapphire sea. Sun-drenched tiles curled around an infinity pool. White curtains danced gently from shaded balconies. A dream. The door opened. No greeting needed. No words. The glass entryway stood wide open, letting the sea air roll in. She stepped inside. Soft jazz whispered through the house. The scent of orange blossom and something deeper, amber maybe, wrapped around her like heat. Andrew waited at the room's far end, barefoot in a loose white shirt and drawstring trousers. He looked up at her, his gaze unreadable, as always, locked on her. He didn't speak. He walked forward, deliberate steps. When he reached her, he circled, hands brushing her waist, his mouth close to her ear. You came. Her breath caught. Yes. Take off your shoes. She obeyed. His fingers slid beneath her hair, lifting it, brushing it aside. His lips touched the back of her neck. From now on, he murmured, you don't think, you feel. No questions, only yes. Don't speak, unless breathing shallow, heart thudding. He circled her like a sculptor inspecting a masterpiece, then knelt, hands trailing up the backs of her legs. Every inch of you, he whispered, belongs to me this weekend. His palms pressed to her hips. Every breath, every noise, every heartbeat. He kissed her spine. I want you to remember all of it. Hours melted in sensation. He tied her wrists with silk, not harshly, just enough to remind her she'd surrendered control. He placed her on the chaise, spreading her legs like art. His mouth devoured her. No words, no haste. He kept going until she was shaking, soaked, pleading, silently. And when he finally entered her, his lips near her ear, hand at her throat, she released everything. She was no longer Sophia. She was only heat, rhythm, and sound. Night came with golden light draped over the sea. Andrew stood on the balcony, shirt undone, watching the horizon. Sophia joined him, wrapped in linen, still breathless from everything. He turned as she neared, hungry. For food. He smiled faintly. For now. He guided her to a private balcony table, silverware, candlelight, dancing in glass. 2 plates, grilled sea bass, figs, and chilled wine. They ate quietly. At first, just forks clinking and wind whispering. Then he spoke. "I wasn't meant to want you." She froze. "You came to my office, confident, quiet, smart eyes, clever mouth. I noticed you day one, but I kept distance." He held her gaze. "Then you stayed late, and when I locked the door, I stopped pretending." She lowered her fork. "Do you regret it?" she asked. He waited. "I regret nothing," he said, "but I fear what follows." Wind curled past the table. She watched him. "Why?" He leaned back. "Because I can't stop." Neither could she. Later in the bedroom, wide bed, silk sheets, candlelight on stone walls, he asked her to lie face down. He massaged her shoulders with oil, melting tension from every joint. His hands pressed into her muscles, down her back, her thighs, her calves, until she was limp. Then his mouth trailed kisses down her spine. She moaned. "Speak," he said. "It's too much." "You'll live," he whispered. "Barely." He slid into her from behind, hands at her hips. Their rhythm was quiet, steady. His breath hitched. Hers cried out, every thrust echoing deeper. His hand reached beneath her, stroking in sync until she shattered around him, trembling, undone. We do not speak of this as the office. Nothing has changed. The words hit like a blade. Nothing had changed, except everything. She showered in silence, dressed in her original clothes. A car waited outside. The driver stayed silent. The villa behind her, like a dream she couldn't hold. Sophia stared through the window the entire ride, clutching that paper, like it could name the ache inside her. Her body remembered, her soul remembered, and she wondered if he was trying to forget. Monday morning came back like a rising tide. Sophia sat at her desk, alone in the quiet corner of floor 22. Every movement deliberate, every inhale measured. Outside her window, the city moved as usual, but inside her, a storm churned under skin and bone. Andrew hadn't spoken since the villa. No glances during the meeting, no words when she passed him the updated presentation notes. Not even a glance, not a murmur. He was composed again, the CEO, distant and untouchable, and she hated him for it. By noon, she couldn't hold back any longer. She left her desk under the excuse of a file run and headed straight for his office. She didn't knock. He was alone. He looked up, slow, measured, as if her arrival meant nothing. "Sophia," he said calmly, "professional." Her pulse pounded. "You said nothing would change," she said, shutting the door behind her. "It hasn't." She walked forward. "You said you wanted all of me. You took it, then left me behind." He stood quietly, setting his pen on the desk. "We had an agreement." Her voice broke. "No, you made the rule. You kept it. I didn't." The words lingered in the air. He stepped out from behind the desk, now just inches between them. "You want me to say it?" he asked. "I want to see that it meant something." He cupped her face, firm but not rough, like he was barely in control. It did. His mouth was on hers before she could answer. No performances this time, no distance, just hunger, raw, honest. He pinned her to the wall, lips crushing hers. His hands slid down her curves like he was claiming what was his. "You ruined me," he whispered against her lips. "You touched the part I swore I'd keep buried." His hands clutched her hips, his face buried in her neck. "I tried to protect you," he murmured, "but I don't want to protect anymore." She kissed him back, deep, breathless. "Then take it. All of it." They didn't leave the office. He locked the door, pulled the blinds, shut off the phones. He lifted her onto the desk, sweeping everything to the ground. He spread her thighs with his knee and knelt there in his $1,000 suit, tongue slow and sure, claiming every inch. He just listened to her moans, to the way she whispered his name like a curse and a prayer. When he finally stood and entered her, eyes locked, she saw him tremble. And when he came, holding her tightly, forehead resting to hers, he whispered something so soft she wasn't sure she heard it. "Mine." Later, lying tangled on the office couch, breath finally steady, she reached up, fingers brushing his jaw. "What is this, Andrew?" He looked at her. "We're breaking rules. How long until they break us? And if they do?" His hand slid under her shirt, slow, sure. "Then we make new ones." She smiled, lips soft against his. "That sounds dangerous." His mouth moved to her ear. "You're worth the risk." Weeks passed. They grew better at hiding, or worse at pretending they wanted to. His hand beneath the table, her breath on his neck in the elevator. Quiet, stolen seconds behind closed doors, until one day, he didn't wait for sunset. He took her in the boardroom. Broad daylight, marble table, surrounded by glass walls. And when she looked at her reflection, flushed, exposed beneath him, she felt no shame. She felt power. She felt love. A year later, no one was shocked when Sophia became director of design. Fewer blinked when she moved into the CEO's private penthouse. And no one dared mention the gossip, because Andrew Rosenfeld, the man known for never bending, had finally broken. And Sophia? She didn't break him. She opened him. Not by force, but with silence, with touch, with every glance that told him she already knew that he would always choose her in the quietest hours. When the city lights flickered against tall windows and she lay beneath his hands once more, she'd whisper, "Do you regret it?" And every time he'd answer the same, not with words, but with a kiss to her scars, a hand pulling her closer, a truth that no one else would ever hear. Never. The end. What would you do if the one person who broke all your rules also healed you in silence? If this story stirred something in you, leave a comment below. We read every one. Subscribe for more emotional, slow-burn stories that explore forbidden love, hidden passion, and the power of quiet connection. And if you believe love is worth the risk, like this video to let us know. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that happen behind locked doors.